Okay, so the best thing about this rifle is the fact that you can use this rear sight for any elevation at any distance at all, including, like 4 or 5 feet. You can still hit something without the shot going low. So, for instance, if you take this sight and you put it all the way down, you could pick off flies off the deck at close range, like 3 to 5 feet. And then if you want to get out to 25 yards, you could put it up here. So it's really got a wide range of sight adjustment, which is really nice to have in a single pump air rifle. And it does have a rifled barrel. And I checked that on my duck seal over there, where I fire a shot and then it falls on the table and then it spins, and that verifies that it does have some rifling in it. Now if you look inside the barrel, you won't notice that much. It's kind of hard to see in the barrel, but there is a little swirl in there, so it is a rifled barrel. So after breaking it in a little bit, I did some shots here at 15 yards, and I used a R10 pellet, RWS 7 grain, and 6 shots. A few times I was able to cover a dime with 6 shots. So there it is right there. And the old saying is that you can't shoot what you can't see, so you have to make sure that you have a good visibility target. So this orange one, I would prefer black, in this size at 15 yards because of my eyes. My eyes aren't the best. So, but anyway, for scoping this thing, you don't necessarily need to scope it. It's fine just with the sights. The sights are really fine just the way they are. Very, very easy to hold on target, these sights. They're amazing. So let me go through some of the ballistics data here for this rifle. So what we got here is I tested out some pellets on this thing, and what I was getting here was for a 7 grain R10 pellet, I was getting 365 feet per second. For a finale match, 7.56 grain with a 4.51 millimeter head, I was getting 345, and an R10 8.2 grain, I was getting 316. An Air Arms 7.33 round grain pellet, or round nose pellet, I was getting 347. An H&N Field Target Trophy 8.64 grain, I was getting 316. And Air Arms 10.34, I was getting 291. So it will push out some heavy pellets, but the one thing you guys have to remember about this rifle now is that some pellets that are too tight will get stuck in the barrel. For instance, alloy pellets tend to get stuck in the barrel. And there might be some other ones that are kind of tight that can get stuck in the barrel. So I would just pretty much stick with the RWS 7 grains and the 7.33 grain Air Arms Falcon, which is working really good in this. Although the 10.34 grain would work good, the velocity is kind of low, but it should still be able to get out there about maybe 15 to 20 yards. The Falcon will get 25 yards. This one will almost get 25, so you have to do some shooting for yourself to see if it'll get out there. But I do know that yesterday I was shooting the 7 grain R10 pellet match grade, and I was hitting stuff with no problem out of 25 yards. Pop cans, 1-inch targets. A few times I was hitting 1-inch targets. So, but anyway, that's all I have so far on this rifle here. For the price, I think it's worth it. So I think it's a pretty neat rifle. What I do indoors at 15 yards now is I use my spotting scope right here, because you really can't see sometimes, at 15 yards, especially when you have a smaller target. Even this one here, it was hard for me to see that one at that distance. So I had to have some kind of a guide. If I'd had my way, I would have a black dot about this size at least, or at least an inch is the furthest, the lowest I can go before I can't see much of anything with my eyes at that distance. But anyway, I think this is a great little trainer for any youngster or anybody that wants to get started. It's got an easy loading port there for pellets. It's got full adjustment of sights. You're never going to have to worry about close range, or even up to 25 yards. You can dial in that range perfectly. Whereas the Daisy 840, Daisy 880, Daisy 35 and stuff like that, you have to, you can adjust the sights a little bit, but this one here has got a really nice windage system too. It's got a little screw right there, and it's very easy to adjust the windage on this thing with that little screw. And then of course you guys know the elevation is excellent for adjustment, so that slide rail right there really comes in handy for distances. You can set the distance, like I was saying, for you got about 5 yards here, 15 yards here, and about 25 yards. 20 yards would be somewhere in there. And that would be with your lightest pellet, like your 7 grain R10 or your Arms Falcon 7.33 grain. So it's a lot of fun. I was out in the yard plinking with it. It's so light and so easy to pump. It's amazing. And then also I showed you the pump mechanism where it's got the double O-ring and the wiper and stuff. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about too is that a lot of people have failed their air rifles, especially pump rifles, in one area because they just kind of go along with it for so long. But you have to oil these, any pump rifle, and I'll show you something here. If you look at the pump mechanism there, you got that felt pad and them 2 O-rings. That's kind of nice to have that extra O-ring. Now, what you want to do with oiling is, I usually give it a couple drops every 50 to 100 shots, but everybody's different. But typically what you want to look for is, you see them O-rings, you see how they got kind of a wet look to them? Real shiny, there's a shiny glare. That's how you can tell if you got plenty of lube in your pumping mechanism, if it's got that wet look. If it doesn't have that wet look, then it's drying up and you need to oil that thing. So, and the felt wiper helps because it stores some oil temporarily. So all you need is, a couple drops every 100 rounds or so. Like me, I go 50 rounds and give it like 1 or 2 drops. So, but anyway, it's all up to you guys. So, for how you oil it, but you have to make sure you oil it with non-detergent 20 or 30 weight. I use 30 weight non-detergent oil, just the plain 30W, not 10W30, but just 30, just straight 30 is what I use, non-detergent, and it's been working good for decades on my air rifles. So depends on what's worked for you for your oil. So, but anyway, it's another thing I wanted to tell you guys too is it's great for bench because it's got this flat spot right here, and a flat spot here works wonders because you can lay it down like on a table or somewhere, like I showed you in part of the video where I had it like this. And what that helps with is you can do some bench accuracy tests that way. Where the flat part is laying down, you can keep the rifle perfectly straight so that you can find out exactly what it's going to do for accuracy at the bench. So you can bench rest test this thing very easy and get some good results. And part of doing bench rest with any rifle is having that flat bottom on there. Really helps a lot to keep the gun from moving around on you when you're testing it. So, but anyway, thank you very much for watching.